What is up, my marks? It is your boy, Pro Wrestling Kingpin, and I'm here once again with my co-host for the Smack Talk Wrestling Podcast, episode 39. We are on the road to WrestleMania with my boys Angel, AOK Gaming, and Gonzo, Raising Personalities, King of the Wrestling Trolls, King of the Yugi, King of the Pokemon. That's him. Angel, King of the Twitch Gaming. What is going on, guys? How are you?
Good, bro. Chilling.
Is it 41 days now until Mania?
Something like that.
I think so.
Damn.
We're getting closer. That's all I got to say.
We're getting closer, and we're getting closer, and we still don't have a clear idea on what this card is going to be.
I bet you we won't know until like a week or two before, like maybe even crazy later.
I was gonna say I seen there was promotion that the Undertaker is gonna be at the convention hall. I think it's either Friday or Saturday.
It's
of
Friday.
Mania weekend. Okay, then you already know.
Friday.
So
I thought about it. We're gonna be there, as you guys know. WrestleMania is coming up quick. Before we get into our episode, for first-time listeners or watchers, this is a WWE podcast where we talk about this past week in the WWE that expands to Raw, NXT, and SmackDown. We play some games here and there, or for the most part, we just yell at David for being the troll that he is.
you yell at me.
But you could listen, or you could watch us live on YouTube, Twitch, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. Usually today we started just a little late. Or you could just listen to Spotify if you don't want to, just view our ugly faces, and that will be up usually right after, or you could just listen on Monday. We go live, like I said, every Sunday. But here we go. So a lot to digest this week. But before we go, let's talk about the WWE 2K25, man. Just real quick, it's launch week. We've seen some people on the Twitch universe playing it. I know me and Angel are going to get it. I don't know if Gonzo's going to get it. He might start breaking controllers like we all used to back. Well, I'm sorry, not we all. Angel never did, but me and David back in the day. I just want to put that out there before I get called out. But Angel, our Twitch superstar here. Are you going to get WWE 2K? How do you feel about it from what you've seen? Do you feel as though it's a game that you're going to start streaming yourself? What's going on, my guy?
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to get last year's, just never got around to it. And then when it came out for free, I wanted to play it, but just haven't gotten around to it. But this year, I don't know, it looks more intriguing for me. It's not so much the island. I know that's the biggest feature coming out, but after getting my brains beat in by the city and 2K basketball, I'm like, I don't know if I want to really jump into that for wrestling. But I don't know. It looks really cool. Saw some people playing on Twitch. They have some cool moments. Saw them playing some old school WrestleMania moments and unlocking characters, doing that, which is really cool. They were playing with like The Rock's dad and like other people and stuff like that. It was just really cool to see. And then just the list of characters or wrestlers that are going to be on the roster looks really good. And the My GM we talked about, me and you, seeing if we could play that, and all that stuff just seems really exciting. So really want to get it this year more than
the My GM is something that I've played. It's usually, obviously just a solo play. So it would be really cool to see how the My GM affects, basically us going promotion versus promotion. So that'd be really cool. Like I said, like Angel just mentioned, we play the NBA 2K, and it's just really, really sweaty. You got to really put work into it and play it. So I could just only imagine how the island's going to be, but it looks dope.
Did you see dudes already making builds? Like 2K builds?
Yeah.
Already making builds on TikTok and stuff. It's crazy.
Yeah. So, it's something that I've actually always wanted to do. It'd be really cool. If we could make like a faction on there or something, or like defend tag titles on there.
Yeah. You know what? For fun, I'll definitely do it. Like if it always gets sweaty at some point, and that's probably when I'll be like, all right, maybe I had enough, but I'll definitely try it out, especially if it's like me and you doing like tag team or something like that.
You like playing the sweaty games all day. You play Marvel Rivals, you play 2K, you play all Rainbow Six.
I only have so much sweat in me for those games. I can't be sweaty playing fucking WWE. Like we used to sweat as kids. We would beat the hell out of each other.
But this is something new that we have to do. Like we're tired of the 2Ks and Marvel Rivals and Apex Predator and all that other shit that you'd be playing. This is something new that's exciting that we've all always wished that we could do.
Yeah, it's new until I start looking up builds and be like, bro, I have the cheat codes right now. That's why we're losing. They're like, yeah, you don't want to hear me going sweaty on that. Trust me. Oh, I don't have the right finisher set up. Whatever.
I already know what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna recreate the fat tub of lard that won the Iron Man match against Gonzo. You know, doing the flying tub of lard, bro. The flying tub of lard is the greatest luchador of all time. My 600-pound life doing frog splashes and shooting star presses. That's what you want to see.
Didn't he have Sacco too?
Yeah. He also had boots that would curl up as well, kind of like the Iron Sheik had.
Yeah.
Iron Sheik boots.
The greatest,
Mr. Sacco.
the greatest wrestler of all time.
It's awful. Right. What was that, an Iron Man match, right? That
second greatest, Mark. Second greatest. Sanke's number one.
Sanke.
All right, so before we get into our episode, real quick backstory. So we used to do like laser tag at this place in Chicago, and Gonzo over here would go and try to cheat and be like, "Oh, I'm gonna put the name's high score of the guy of the day," and it was Snake, and the idiot misspelled it and wrote Sanke, and that was his created player going forward. So
he's always been known as Sanke since then.
Yeah, Sanke. If you know, you know, right? So Hooked on Phonics didn't work for him.
No, so absolutely not. I'm extra special.
All right, so let's get into the episode. Once again, we appreciate you guys that view every week. We want you guys to engage. So if you guys want to chime in the conversation, utilize those comments. But most importantly, like, share, help us get our names out there. All right. So going forward, let's go. Let's talk about this championship title picture. Right. So we're on the road to WrestleMania. Once again, we said we have no idea what the title pictures what the 2-day match card is going to be. But we had a lot of championship matches this week spanning through Raw, NXT, and SmackDown. But Lyra Valkyria, we saw her defeat Ivy Nile in the Women's Intercontinental Championship match, and we really want to talk about this. So real quick, I'm gonna combine these two. So our first two title matches we want to talk about is the Women's Intercontinental Championship match that Angel's putting the thumbs down for those of you guys listening on Spotify. And the War Raiders defeat American Made, which is Chad Gable's faction. They both take L's. Master Gable's out here trying to master the art of the luchadors and task them with becoming champions. They fail yet again. What is going on, guys?
Before we give an answer, you have to talk to those who haven't seen it or maybe skip past it. Who did Master Gable talk to? Because he had a vignette where he was talking to somebody and he was about to pull out some luchador mask.
It was a mask. It was definitely a mask. Fucking Mr. Miyagi.
Yeah, I was gonna call Mr. Miyagi as well. It just looked like Mr. Miyagi type.
First of all, luchador. I mean, I don't know why you have Mr. Miyagi over here when luchadors are usually Mexican wrestlers or Latino wrestlers, and
I think also an old Mexican guy. He just his beard. I don't know. Made him look like an old sage.
I think it was La Parka. Or Psychosis? Do you think it was one of those guys?
No, it was no one from
that was giving him his mask.
No, it was just an actor.
Yeah, definitely not. But let's talk about this. So let's talk about this Chad Gable faction. I mean, he had what was it called before? I already forgot because they're obsolete.
It's the Alpha Academy.
The Alpha Base.
So you had the Alpha. So you had the Alpha Academy. You had this faction that they seemingly wanted to push. He turns heel. He makes this American Made. They're just getting job after job. They feud with the White Six. We never get that final match that I'm still butthurt about between Bo Dallas and him. What is going on with this? They're taking L's. And we're still getting invested in this, but why? What's going on with American Made, Gonzo? Nah, bro. I love these old school vignettes so much. Yeah, Derek. Yeah.
I mean, I had made mention of it. I think it was last week or the week before that. It's all about Gable. And you were very quick to say, what are we just sacrificing? 5 to 7 people now and trying to make him something greater than what he is? I'm still invested in the Master, but as far as his team consistently and they keep on losing, I mean, at some point the bleeding's got to stop, right?
Dude, the Creed brothers are so good as a tag team, and them joining with Chad Gable, I was so excited. Like I was like, okay, is this going to be like another Kurt Angle and the, Shelton Benjamin and Charlie Haas era?
Well, here's a good example is and we'll talk about this definitely, but they keep losing, and I'm losing interest in them because of that. If it's
Of
not
course.
about Gable, right? So a good example is Pretty Deadly. Pretty Deadly was jobbing out for months now, and all of a sudden, spoiler alert, they actually were able to win their match here on SmackDown this past Friday, and it's putting them now in a opportunity to potentially pursue the belts, right? They're starting to gain momentum, and they look really good doing it. Not like they haven't before, but I'm emotionally invested again. So I was frustrated when the Creeds disqualified themselves. What was it, 2 weeks ago, when he took the
Mhm.
chair or whatever and got himself disqualified? I said, what are you doing? Like, why? What type of I don't understand. You were possibly about to win, and then all of a sudden you made that decision and that choice. Like, I understand it's going into the whole storytelling of incompetent fools again, and Gable can't get it right, and I don't know what they're gonna do. It leaves me in a position of just questioning everything with that. So I like it. I'm entertained, but then at the same time, like you had made mention of several weeks ago, you're at the expense of people's direction now.
So before Angel goes, I'm still invested in it, and it's very rare for me to do that because once I shit on something, that's it. I'm still
Yeah.
invested in it because not everyone can be pushed into a title picture. Not everyone can be pushed for a mid card title picture, and it's giving me story within the mid card. However, at the same time, it's like we're all so invested in Master Gable. It's like we want something good for him to happen. I mean, his feud with Gunther was great. He never got over the hump with Gunther. He blamed it on his team with the Alpha Academy. You got a new faction. People like Ivy Nile a lot. They love her in-ring work. People love the Creed brothers a lot. So we thought that this would be finally the thing that will give him over a hump. And it's just not. And now he's on this comedic quest, as it seems, to master the art of the luchador. What, to beat Penta? Like, I don't get it. Angel, do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, man. I mean, I think they had to have pulled off at least one win there, in my opinion. I agree with you that I'm still invested because their story is still intriguing to me as a unit as individual wrestlers. Um, I feel bad for Nile. I mean, I guess they can't take it off Lyra yet. I think that's kind of the vibe they're getting. Like, oh, she's our first holder. We're not going to just take it from her yet. So on and so forth. I guess Ivy just didn't really have a chance there. But man, are we really gonna keep pushing the War Raiders with W's? Like, I
I think
don't
they're
get that one.
boring. I think they're
I
boring.
don't get that one at all.
mean,
Like, okay, they had they got away with the last match, but 2 matches in a row and they win, and like, it just doesn't make sense to me. We're going into WrestleMania, and like Gonzo said, 40 days or whatever. Like, and the War Raiders is our Raw story. I don't know about that one. I mean, it just doesn't click for me, this move. And now they both, Master Gable, like you said, is doing his little journey. He's going to come back from the League of Shadows or whatever the hell he's doing. But hopefully they figure out, a little bit more for his team because they're great wrestlers. And Ivy has a good personality when she plays more of a role, voicing her opinions and talking to other characters, like she did with Maxine and stuff. Like, she can be a good wrestler, in my opinion, on the roster. And her losing to Lyra is just like keeps pushing her down, and I just don't like it. So I think they need a little bit of a push. They earned it with this season so far, so I hope it's coming for the team.
I agree. I mean, what was it, Gonzo? In BMS, a Vision Quest. That's what Chad Gable's doing right now. He's just doing this super
Yeah, he's on a side quest or something.
Like,
the
I
main
don't know,
storyline's
man.
unfolding, and he's doing whatever he's doing.
Yeah.
Vision
So-
quest, side quest.
So before we move on, the segment is championship title picture, right? And the name of the episode is Road to WrestleMania. So with these two, we were talking about the Women's Intercontinental Championship, and we have the Raw World Tag Team Championships, I believe. Yeah, Raw has the World Tag Team Championships. What does this division look like, and what is this possible WrestleMania outlook for these championships now that Alpha Academy just keeps taking L's? Like, who should be next in line?
I know I said it last week where all the belts have to be featured on WrestleMania in some type of capacity, but I mean, there's a real chance that the Raw's Men's Tag Team Championship is not going to be featured.
100% agree with you, Gonzo. That's gonna be the Raw before or after. That's what they're gonna do with that.
That's the after show or the pre-show or whatever. I mean, because the teams that they're putting out there, I have no emotional investment in any of them. They're all not doing anything for
There's
me.
one way they can make it exciting again, and that's when JD comes back, potentially. If he somehow comes back, I don't know. I don't even know where he's at with his injury. That would make it exciting again, maybe. But other than JD, I don't know.
So, I mean,
like Gonzo's saying.
So while we're looking at the Raw tag team title picture, so I mean, who are the teams that we have out there? We have the current champions. We have JD McDonough with the Judgment Day. We have
Right. The
LWO, I guess.
Who
We
cares?
have
War Raiders, obviously.
right. We
Who
have the New
cares?
Day. New Day turned
Yep.
heel, which is kind of losing steam at this point now. It's like,
Yeah.
do you do like a wash, rinse, repeat
Ameri-
from last year
You
and
have
do another
American
ladder
Made.
match? Or yeah, you got American Made. I mean, you got the teams there. It's just they're not really booking them with.
I mean, if you compare it to
stories.
SmackDown, they had to do a whole blackboard about what's going on.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
And it was great.
like-
and I'm glad you mentioned
And Raw's
that.
the opposite. Raw's like
Yeah.
nothing. Nothing's going on. It's like,
And I'm glad you
okay,
mentioned
look at
that.
these two
So
shows are so opposite.
We'll talk about
Yeah.
the women's IC title then. I mean, the men's Raw tag, I would rather not I'd rather have it not be at WrestleMania. Have it be for
At this point,
Monday at some point, do something else, but not for a spot for the main show.
So before we go to women's women's Intercontinental Championship, so we had Pretty Deadly win on SmackDown, the number one contenders for the tag team championships. When does that take place? Is that next week?
Yeah.
Is that next week on Friday? All
Yeah,
right.
because
So I mean,
it's 3 SmackDowns in a row where they're overseas now.
okay. So this is what I kind of feel is going
Barcelona?
on with they're in Barcelona next Friday. So this is what I kind of feel like what's going on with the SmackDown title. I mean, I feel like we're gonna get some type of WrestleMania fatal 4-way tag match, whether it be a stipulation with a ladder or just a fatal 4-way tag team match at WrestleMania, just because those teams are actually gunning for the championships. They're all letting them know that we're all going for it. But in comparison to the WWE World Tag Team Championship division on Raw, it's just what's going
Triple
on.
H could do that would really piss off that division if he put the NXT title at WrestleMania.
Oh yeah, I mean,
it seems like going for that, like the Hardy Boys and shit. That division would be pissed if he were to do something.
I mean, I could see the Hardys doing it, but back to the Intercontinental Championship. So Gonzo, what's your vision quest for the Women's Intercontinental Championship?
Well, who are the ladies, right, that are in contention for the IC belt on Raw?
I mean, you got a bunch of ladies on there. I mean, take your pick. Dakota Kai just had a shot a couple weeks ago. Ivy Nile. I mean, you could do. I mean, well, she moved to SmackDown now. I was going to say, what's her face for the LWO? I mean, there's plenty of women on the roster that they just don't utilize, and that's the problem with the women's division, in my opinion, is that they only book them in championship scenes or nothing. So you can't really get invested into somebody, but okay, this person deserves a title shot. But you got Shayna Baszler sitting there because the Pure Fusion Yu-Gi-Oh collective had to break up. So I mean, you got them. I mean, Zoe Stark's available.
I love Zoe Stark. I think Zoe Stark needs to get pushed right now since they broke up that team. She needs to come back and get something going. They need it.
I mean,
who have been the major feuds that Lyra's had though, as of right now?
Exactly. She really hasn't had a major feud.
No, she had that connection with Becky Lynch. Everyone claims Becky Lynch is going to come back, but
Becky
Lynch is going to come back for the IC title? No.
Why not?
It'll be for a singles match for a non-title.
But why not?
I think she's going
to John Cena back in the day.
Championship.
John Cena back in the day trying to relaunch the United States Championship. Had
John Cena is not someone's wife that is always put ahead of her career-wise. Like he's not compared to anybody. She's always compared to Seth. So it's like I just don't see that.
On the contrary, I feel like people like Becky more than Seth right now because you got this guy.
Of course they do, but Seth's a guy.
Yeah.
Like when you're a female talent, like I don't know. I just feel like at her level, does she want to go back down to that? I feel like it's a bigger, I see what you're saying with John. Of course.
Why
I don't
not,
think the mid card is bad, but
why not have Becky Lynch or even Bayley go for a mid card championship when they've had? Okay, I can see maybe Bayley because her coming back, Bayley be more like it. But why not Bayley?
Bayley's from NXT.
You know what I mean?
So is Becky, right?
So is Becky Lynch and so is Charlotte. Well, they all came from NXT.
Yeah. So is Becky. You're right.
So why can't they go for a mid card championship?
I guess Becky could do it.
Especially, yeah, exactly. Great point. These women now want to be a Grand Slam champion. At this point, Bayley was the only one, but now with the United States Championship and the Intercontinental Championship being involved, Bayley's no longer a Grand Slam champion, even though she was the first woman to do it. So why not Becky Lynch do it, and why not Bayley or these guys or Alexa Bliss?
You just gave up a story there. How to put some of these talents into the mid card by going for the Grand Slam of the new titles.
Mm-hmm.
Like that could definitely be a story where they're racing for it, like her and Bailey racing to get that honor. So that's definitely possible. Yeah. Okay.
So I mean, I'm just saying that's what I would at this point. If you're trying to launch a new championship, and Lyra has pretty much not having any great feuds, and it seems as though she's not losing, considering she's beaten Dakota Kai, who was pretty hot, and she's beating Avi Nile, who we all thought should have won that championship. I mean, maybe they're really saving her for WrestleMania, and if they want to launch it, I would say bring in a former world champion, either Alexa Bliss, Bailey, or Becky Lynch to try to go after that championship. But I think Alexa Bliss is on SmackDown, but it's WrestleMania season. Who cares? But yeah, she is on SmackDown. But that's just my opinion. All right. But moving on, the shocker of the week, Monday Night Raw main event. Io Sky defeats Rhea Ripley to capture the women's the WWE Women's Championship. Rhea Ripley distracted by Bianca Belair for whatever freaking reason. I mean, did you guys? No, I'm not even gonna ask that question because no one saw this coming. But like, how do you guys feel about this, especially us going into WrestleMania? So now we got Bianca Belair versus Io Sky. Gonzo, you loved it. Tell me what's up.
Because everyone else is losing their mind because they hate it. So because of that, makes me happy. But joking all aside, I actually liked it. So I like Io Sky a lot.
And I mean, that's not the question.
Well, I'm about to give you my answer though.
Okay, I was about to say none of us here hate Io Sky, but go on.
I like Io Sky, and to be truthful, that wasn't on my bingo card, was to have Rhea just lose that title. And I mean, to be truthful with you, I kind of got a little stale of Rhea Ripley, to be truthful with you. Her coming out, parading around with the belt, always huffing and puffing and talking. I mean, it's the same tone, all this, jibber jabber. I mean, she talks mad garbage to whoever it is that she is interacting with. I mean, so technically it wasn't too out of character for what she did. Could you create a storyline now that she was just corrupted with the championship and the title and she got over,
she got too cocky?
She got too cocky? Yeah, I know too much about that from time to time. But I mean, just listening to people, they're pretty upset with it. They don't understand the direction. What are you doing? I don't understand. But, as far as Io winning it, to me, I like the shock factor because, yes, we're right next to WrestleMania season. But when we had made mention months ago of the reality that they have these championship titles, here they are on Raw, SmackDown, they're, flip-flopping champions. Like, this is something where I had made mention months ago where I like the idea that a Monday night match has a lot of significance behind it. You could see a shocker. So to only think that
the
Netflix era, or even before they went to Netflix, like they made these matches and these people special. And so therefore heading into the show of shows, thinking that everyone is safe and only the champs, these are what you're going to get come WrestleMania. I mean, this was a good example of a complete curveball to where you're giving a little of that unexpected, toss there. And I like that. I really do, because to think that, my goodness, like, well, what else are you going to do? I don't need major shockers all too much, but this would be one of them. To me, it adds a little bit more realism to the entertainment aspect of what WWE is. Do people like it? No. Do some? Yeah. I'm part of the some that like it because, again, it feels a little bit more real, right? It's something that potentially, quote unquote, wasn't scripted or it wasn't predetermined, right? So it made me feel a little bit different instead of just expecting to see Rhea in some type of championship feud with some random individual. I'd rather now enjoy the build up and what story you're going to tell me as this all develops. I'm a little bit more wanting, I want that more versus, speculating that it's going to be Rhea versus Bianca and nothing else. Now, well, who are they going to go against and what is going to happen and how this is going to interplay and get connected? Is it going to be a triple threat match?
So there you go. Does it, they say a triple threat has to happen. Do you feel like it has to happen?
I don't think it has to happen, but could it happen? Sure.
Would you like it better if it happened?
No, I wouldn't want the triple threat. But if it happened, so be it. If you get the one-on-one, I mean, that'd be cool. What type of stipulation? Would it be a straight up singles match? Would it be, of course, triple threat? I don't
Well, I
think
mean,
you need the triple threat, but
triple threat rules are basically a hardcore match because there's no DQ. So I mean, it's
right.
not any added stipulation. Saw a weird stat that Rhea has never beat Io. She hasn't. So that's another storyline that could make this triple threat happen. So, I mean, I don't know. Angel, what do you feel?
Yeah.
Did this piss you off?
I think it's the only thing that kind of bothers me. I like Io. You guys know that. I think she's one of the best wrestlers in the whole world, in the rings. But like, she's one of the best. But this will be the second year in a row for her at WrestleMania with the title, I believe.
Yep.
So that's pretty
She
interesting.
She fought Bailey last year,
right? And she lost, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. So yeah, it's interesting for Io. Like,
she's a Grand Slam champion.
She's always in the picture for WrestleMania. It looks like with the
she's
belt
not
in her
actually.
hand.
That's what they promoted her as.
Who?
She won this WWE or someone did because
Who's
she won this title.
Champion? Who's a Grand Slam champion?
Io isn't she? After winning this title?
No, she's not. She's never held the Women's Intercontinental Championship. She's never held the Women's United States Championship. No, she's not.
Oh.
Well.
So Mark's going with the technicalities of it.
Take those away, but technically she would be, right? If those other titles didn't exist.
Yeah, I guess. Go on, Angel. Sorry.
Oh, you're good. Yeah, because it's the NXT title,
Women's Tag Team Championships.
Tag team. The two titles. Okay. All right, back to what I was saying. Yeah, just her 2 years in a row is just interesting to me. I think because it's 2 years in a row with her, I think it will be a triple threat match. Am I cool with that? I mean, I don't know. It's kind of whatever. I'm assuming Bianca's story is going to be part of this somehow because I don't see her and Naomi really changing their path as far as like into WrestleMania here. So I'm assuming there's something going on there with her story that's going to bleed into this title picture on WrestleMania Day.
I mean, that's what makes it more intriguing, right? Because you still have the Naomi part, you still have the Jade Cargill part. You make it a triple threat. There's no DQ. Someone could get jumped, and someone could be cost the championship.
It's going to be a melee. I think you're going to see Jade out there. Glad she's back. She looks great again. But like, I don't know. It's just I don't see that not being part of this. So triple threat, and then you got like I said, Bianca's story bleeding into it, and it'll be interesting. I guess we'll see what it goes with, but. That's how I feel about it. And then the other thing I wanted to say about this title is you kind of feel like the main shows are kind of experimenting with the NXT way of title changing. Like you got the men's intercontinental title that changed over pretty quick with Braun and Jay, where you can lose it and get it back, or like, it's not like you got to keep the title for 100 years straight to be like a good champion. And then the men's U.S. title, we just saw that happen with LA Knight. Very similar situation. So it's just kind of like they're kind of experimenting here where people don't just keep the title forever and ever and ever. Like, yeah, Liv's reign was pretty good. Obviously, Cody and Roman, those are iconic and still occurring. But like, it just seems like they're kind of shifting into this idea and they're experimenting with the mid-cards a little bit on the main show.
I mean, just to interject a bit, in my opinion, the mid-card championships, I mean, yeah, Gunther held it for like 660-something days or whatever. But in my opinion, the mid-card championships has always been the workmen's championships, and they shouldn't have these 2-3 year reigns, in my opinion. I mean, it's cool to see them rarely, but I like the fact that these titles are jumping from championship to championship. I mean, back in the day, how many times did the tag team championships go from the Hardys to Edge and Christian to the Dudleys? Right. And that's what I want to see.
But the difference here is that you're looking at the women's world championship now doing that. And that's the biggest step they've done. Like, yeah, the mid-card titles have always kind of jumped around a little bit, and that's always been the case. But now you're seeing it with the women's world, and you're like, oh, okay, hold on. This is something we're not used to. So it's different, like Gonzo said. I'm not totally upset with it. But yeah, I just wasn't expecting it, and the more the more we talk about it, the more I feel like it's just a triple threat melee. It's going to be a lot of people involved with this story, somehow, some way. If people jump shows or not, we'll see. But yeah, that's how I feel about it.
What's going on, child of God? Thanks for joining again. Remember you from a few episodes now. Thanks for joining. Yeah, I mean, you made some great points, Angel, and like I said, I like seeing that. I mean, obviously seeing Roman Reigns' historic run was great. Cody now going on a year, those are great, and I think world champions should have those long reigns to help. I've always been like that. So seeing these mid card belts jump in hands, like you made mention with Jey Uso and Braun Breaker, even the tag team championships, jumping around when on SmackDown. I mean, that's what I like to see, and it helps give us that mid card as far as better stories, because that's why I love tag team wrestling so much. I keep going back to Edge, Christian, Dudley Boys, and
Feuds
and the Hardys. Those feuds going after it. I mean, it helps fill out your show, and especially with SmackDown being a 3-hour show, having those tag team feuds being what it is, it's really helping that show, especially with how it flows. So, but yeah, that's definitely what I like to see. Do you guys have anything you want to add when it comes to the atrocity?
Praise the goddess of the sky. Praise the goddess of the sky.
I love her, dude.
I mean,
it's not an atrocity. It's not an atrocity. It's a bad word. I love it. I mean, I liked it just because it was just. I know every one of us was like, "What the hell just happened?" And that's what you want when you're watching the show, right? But at the same time, it's like, what is going on? We got 40 days to WrestleMania. We're all going to see it, and it's like I need to know what I'm going to see.
I think that's what they're doing too. They're blending your brain to be used to. You will not be predicting our card this year. That's what it seems like. That's their main objective. Their main objective this year in 2025, WrestleMania 41, is to not reveal anything about what's coming for this card. Even Triple H is always talking about, oh, this could change just depending on has the most heat, blah blah blah. So it seems like it's true, because if you watch Bianca and Naomi talk, that they did in the middle of the ring on SmackDown, like it seems like people are like putting extra effort into their promos. Seems more real and nuanced versus like people just winging it. People look like they're practicing like real scripts with each other and stuff like that. Cody's been dropping some crazy good promos, more like better than his average. I don't know. Even Randy Orton came out and said some crazy stuff that I thought was really impressive. We talked about CM Punk last time doing his thing. Like, it seems like people are really pushing hard to be on this card, and I don't think it's safe for anybody. I think that's how Triple H is doing it. Nobody's safe.
And good. I like that. Each person then is raising the level of attention to detail, right? You're raising to the attention. And, to answer your question, Child of God, I know you were asking about, our position on EO Sky. We were just talking about that. If you joined in and had missed that, all three of us had said we were all shocked and surprised, but we all have made our points that it was good. We enjoyed it because of the non-predictability heading into WrestleMania season, and just being in a position where things could change. It's not set. And so therefore, because of that, we are really going to evaluate, hey, who really deserves these spots, right? And that's why I said, I enjoyed it. I really do.
All right. Anything else you guys want to add to that before we move on?
I'm good.
All right. So back going to the NXT side, Shawn Spears defeats Tony D'Angelo for the North American Championship. If you guys watch our show, you guys know how much I love Tony D'Angelo, and I just want him on the main roster so bad with the family. And it seems like he might not
title on NXT, brother. It's getting moved.
I know, and it might not. And it looks like Tony D'Angelo might not even have a family. I mean, there's so much dysfunction right now. But Shawn Spears winning with his little family. How did you guys like that? I mean, I think it was time. As much as I love Tony D'Angelo, I think it was time to make our championship moves. We were just talking about it. But how do you guys feel about Shawn Spears winning it? Are you guys invested in Shawn Spears as champion right now? Angel?
Shawn Spears is funny to me. He's like the carrying cross of NXT, but he's actually doing things with it versus just talking backstage. He actually got gold. So I have to give major props to Shawn Spears because he actually pulled it off. And he got what's her name? Izzy. He got Izzy to
fucking
do his dirty work
Dame,
for
bro.
him. Yeah, Izzy Dame, Mrs. Braun Breaker potentially, but yeah, she got him. She convinced everybody that she was against him, and boom, he had her right where he needed her, and it worked out for him. And he's breaking up the family. He's doing all that stuff that he said he was gonna do. I can't talk garbage about the guy. He went in there, won the title. They played off Tony D having was it his back? Is that how it finished?
Yep.
Yeah.
Back.
Yeah.
Fall. It fell on him. So
and that's actually That's actually like long-term storytelling because every time
Right,
Tony
exactly.
D'Angelo loses a
Mhm.
match, he's always like, "Oh, my back's fucked up. Like I have back
Right,
issues."
exactly.
Like that's
He has his
always been
excuse
thing.
ready. Yeah,
Tony
it's his
Stark's,
excuse.
what is it? Tony Stark's left shoulder, right? Or his arm that he's
Yeah,
always holding?
Right.
yeah, exactly. It's always the same thing with him. So they played that off, and these two families or two groups, whatever you want to call them, they have potential to run some story for a little while together with that belt between them both. And they match up woman to woman, crew to crew. So it's pretty cool to see them pull it off. We'll see how it goes. I mean, I like Tony D, and I hope he gets back into the main title picture, maybe face Oba or something instead of Eddie Thorpe every week. But yeah.
Eddie Thorpe. I like Sean Spears.
Yeah, go ahead,
I
Gonzo,
do.
yeah.
Because when he was originally with the WWE NXT, what was his previous ring name?
It was Sean Spears, but I think
Yeah, it was still Sean.
Wasn't he the Perfect 10?
Yeah, he had the perfect 10, but that was like his gimmick. He was still Sean Spears.
Okay. Do you like this current version or the Perfect 10 version? Because
I hated the perfect 10 version, but if you remember NXT before they started traveling, what they're doing, they always were at that Full Sail arena. So all these college kids would always go and they would just love those stupid gimmicks of them with the 10. I couldn't stand it. I just didn't see the appeal. I don't know why everyone was so upset. I like this version. Like I said, I like AEW. He brought this version when he was in AEW.
Mhm.
He had like this more sinister look, which made me take him more seriously. So I'm kind of glad that he brought that and he's still trying to make it work in NXT. And it seems now with proper booking, it seems like it's finally starting to get over. And I like it. He was like the chairman, the sinister chairman in AEW.
Right.
And I like it. So
Okay,
I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it. It is against Tony D'Angelo, fucking whatever, but I like it.
Well, thank you for answering because I liked him in AEW, and when he's come over here to NXT, I have really enjoyed what he's been able to put together. And so, and I know there was already a name drop with Karrion Kross, right? Where he's actually winning gold and doing things and breaking people up. It's refreshing to see, right? And so it's an individual that was able to rebrand themselves a little bit, do a little bit critiquing, and there's a little bit more of a serious tone and vibe to them. And it's starting to pay off, right? Making him a believer. I think he has that type of charisma where he's able to talk on the mic, as we know. And when he's able to do that, if he's in the ring with somebody else, there is this aura about him where I can see him winning regardless, right? Even if it's a bigger opponent. Because again, Sean Spears is not the biggest guy, but the way that he's able to talk and the way that he presents himself outside of the ring, whether he's wrestling or not, it makes me believe that he has a little bit more to him that gives him a slight advantage. And that's just how I view him with his current run. Of course, other people may not see it that way, but I've enjoyed what he's been able to do thus far.
I mean, I really do. I don't like. He's not one of my favorites because you guys all know Ethan Page is my boy. I'll stand on this mountain forever that AEW fucked up, but Sean Spears,
I agree with you.
Yeah, that is my boy. Like, strap a rocket to this guy. But whatever. We're not talking about it. But Sean Spears, I mean, what he's done in AEW and the shitty booking that he was going there, I mean, he was with MJF in that little faction that did absolutely nothing, the Pinnacle. And for him to still come over here and still overcome and still show us to make it work, that makes me like him more. Because he knew that it could work in AEW. It just wasn't properly booked. And now he comes to NXT. He's given the chance, and it's working. And I like Sean Spears. Not one of my favorites again, and I just love it how it's going. I just don't understand why I had to come to the expense of Tony D'Angelo. That's all I'm going to
say. The dawn of NXT.
Tony D can survive that.
He can. That's my boy. I just don't want the family to break up. I mean, I want Tony D to go to the main roster with the family. I think that shit's gold. But,
put him on Raw. There you go.
Was Roxanne Perez the longest reigning NXT champion, or does Shayna Baszler still hold the title? Shayna Baszler still has that at like some 500 and something days, something crazy. I think it was Shayna Baszler, Asuka, and Mandy Rose. Then it's Roxanne. Roxanne had, I think she ended at like 365 or something, like a full year, just over a full year or something like that. I don't remember. but no, she's not the longest reigning NXT champion. Going to SmackDown side, Chelsea Green, who's doing tremendous work. Just gonna put that out there. Chelsea Green,
dude, hardest work on the company, dude.
Dude, tremendous work. Chelsea, she should have won when we went to that SmackDown in the qualifier, but whatever. Chelsea Green defeated Michin for the Women's United States Championship Street Fight match, thanks to a returning Alba Fire, who seems to be joining her cabinet, Secret Service, so to speak. What do you guys think of that? And now that she successfully retained again, WrestleMania outlook for that Women's United States Championship, Gonzo?
I was scared that she was going to lose, to be truthful with you. The use of Alba Fire, I honestly didn't know who that was when she came out, the hood, couldn't see anything, and then the reveal, and I said, oh, okay, because as we know, her tag partner, unfortunately, is not with the company anymore. So I said another Secret Service agent, and sure enough, as soon as I said that, I seen her, like, her little American badge. So
Secret Service awesome. As a Slagent. That is awesome.
Slagent. So, Chelsea Green,
that is absolutely
forward,
awesome.
I think her getting ready and displaying the Cactus Jack get up was amazing to see. So I figured Angel was going to be talking about that, when we give him the opportunity. So as she continues to, gain some steam, she's got 2 Secret Service agents now that are going to be protecting her at all times. She ain't losing anytime soon. I'm going to say that right now. Nope. She ain't losing anytime soon.
Oh, yeah. Are you done?
Yeah.
Oh,
sorry.
Okay.
I'll pass it over to you.
What about the Russell? Yeah, Angel.
Oh,
Angel, go ahead.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, Chelsea Green, dude, anything she does is gold at this point. Like, she just doesn't miss. Her in-ring capabilities are always shown off. Her ability to talk to almost everyone on the entire roster, men or women. Her ability to carry her fellow teammates, if you want to call it, now with Alba. So I mean, she's just propelling everything and everyone around her. I think she's almost becoming like the macho man of the women's division. Like, she's becoming like this person that can just cut a promo at any point, and it's not so much that she's better than the rest of the roster, but she's just so adaptable. She can have any feud with anybody, and it doesn't matter what it is. So, and she can wrestle with anybody in the company. So she's just like that perfect utility guy that just makes that company stick together, like a Miz almost vibes. And I think she's going to carry this U.S. title and make it have some weight to it whenever she does lose it. But I don't see her losing anytime soon.
I agree. So I don't think she's losing anytime soon. But like I said, we are on the road to WrestleMania. So who from that roster, who should Chelsea Green face at WrestleMania? And
Selena would be interesting, but I don't think she has enough behind her at this point, unless they build some story in the next 40 days. Michin is always there for her. Her and Michin always have great matches. Mm-hmm. So I can always see them just defaulting to her. At WrestleMania, they could do another street fight, but like, they're always good. Like, do you see the crowd complaining when they have their street fights? It's like, every time we watch it, it's like they do something crazier and crazier each time. Like, we just have a good time watching them.
What about
maybe it's
Alexa?
a little stale, but
what about Alexa?
Alexa's definitely an option. I mean, I guess if they're not going to give her the title push right now, then you can like the main title push, then why not a mid card? She could definitely do that and go for her version of the Grand Slam championship and see if she could do that with the US title, trying to get that. But I mean, definitely possible. Anyone else on SmackDown that's getting pushed right now? I'm trying to think.
So that was my point right here. Let me just interject. You see how Angel's having trouble to be like, who can push? I need
because you have Jade busy, you have Naomi busy, you have Bianca busy, that whole crew's busy. So there's a lot of girls or women on that roster that are busy with other, bigger picture stuff.
So like I said, this is what's kind of my issue with both the Intercontinental and the United States Women's Championships is you're not making an emphasis. You made it such a big deal. You had these tournaments, and having the tournament is great. Oh, whoever the first championship was, but now you're not giving them the level of importance that they need to be, especially going into these titles first WrestleMania. All right, you need some type of feud, something that these women want to be like, okay, I want to go for this championship. This is something that I want to make it prestigious. I want it to be known, and they're not doing that.
It could be Bailey, couldn't it? Or is she on Raw now?
She's on Raw now. So, I mean, it's like, what do you do? You know what I mean? And that's just my issue. And Chelsea Green is doing great work with everything she's doing. She even came to NXT. She even lost to your girl Sol Ruka on NXT. Sol Ruka pinned her.
Took a soul snatcher, bro.
Yeah, so your girl Sol Ruka could be in line. Yeah, your girl Sol Ruka could be in line for a championship match because she.
No, I don't mind, dude. Match. Oh, you know what?
Mm-hmm.
NXT girls going up there and doing that'd be crazy, but they could do it. They can carry that weight.
NXT, I mean, the NXT is the best women's division. So
yeah, dude, NXT's division's crazy. So that's definitely possible. I agree with you
for sure. So I mean, but that's just my issue. Going forward with these 40 days, I would like to see WWE put some type of emphasis on these mid-card belts for the women, just so we can have more clarity as far as are they even going to be featured on the show, and to show some type of importance for these championships, because in my opinion, they are not, even though the women that are carrying them are great in the ring. And that includes Lyra. Lyra's been getting a lot of heat for some reason because she's quote unquote boring. I like her. I mean, I think she can go in the ring. I think maybe she needs a little more charisma, but give something with these women to showcase, drop promos for these championships, and make me invested in these championships. And that's just what I want going forward for right now, especially leading up to the show of shows. So anything else on these women's mid-card championships, guys? All right. LA Knight regains the United States Championship against Shinsuke Nakamura. Gonzo is clearly showing his displeasure for someone who's supposed to be his boy. So let's hear it, Gonzo. For those of you listening on Spotify, he's visibly upset with this decision on SmackDown. Gonzo, talk about it.
That one bothered me. This bothers me more than Mommy dropping her title. And they said it on the broadcast that this was Shinsuke's second title defense. So they put that out there for people to just immediately be aware of it. And of course, what happens? Shinsuke loses. The way that they package Shinsuke with this whole new look, the music, they've actually given him some type of new purpose. I love Nakamura. I have for years. This has been wonderful. And what happens? To me, the match wasn't all that great. It was a little bit flat. And all of a sudden, LA Knight goes over. And I said, no, I don't like this. I really don't. I just like what they did with Nakamura more.
Was it a roll-up pin? How did he finish him?
So the ref got sprayed in the eyes, right? So therefore, he's out of the way. And then the next one comes in. And so, they're doing whatever it is that they're doing. And I was so pissed off. I don't even remember how the match ended. Mark, how'd that match end again?
I can't remember.
It
was a roll-up. Damn it. I remember. Because now I was like pissed off about the roll-up. Sorry, Gonzo. I just had to remember if I was mad at the right thing, and I was. Okay, go ahead.
I was just mad. Well, again, I'm so upset that usually my memory's pretty good. And I honestly don't recall how the match ended because I was not satisfied with that. I would have rather had Nakamura continue and take that feud all the way to WrestleMania and then do it there. I don't know.
Do you think that this title change was because Shinsuke Nakamura, people are not buying into this heel character, and B, they want the ultra heel babyface LA Knight carrying the championship into WrestleMania for the ultimate pop?
I could see where some people weren't invested in the Nakamura, display with the music and everything, but it's a good way to show expression of culture for where Nakamura comes from, right? The music, the adjustment,
yeah, nice.
The look and everything. So I was intrigued by that. I liked it. And his vignettes where they're using him appropriately, where he's talking and it's very sinister, but it's not out of the realm of Wyatt Six ridiculousness, where you have it enough to where it's in the realm of believability. And so
on the horn for David, get some points.
So with that being said, Nakamura was viable again because prior to this, he was dropping L's left and right and he was a little bit stale. So I really enjoyed what they were doing with him and presentation wise, the whole thing. So is Nakamura bigger than the title? So yeah, he can be. Did it hurt him? To me, I think it hurt him dropping this title right here, just because you had built him up and he'd been doing a really good job with it. And so he's had some questionable wins, right? Because he's the heel. So to answer your other question, you have the title. It's put on LA Knight. You're entering, of course, to the show of shows. The question now is, well, who is he going to go against? Is it going to be Logan Paul? Is that Logan Paul's WrestleMania moment now to go against LA Knight for
Logan's
the title
on Raw.
again?
Logan's on Raw.
So who's going to be the opponent that LA Knight's going to go against? Obviously, going into it.
So would it be Nakamura? Because now they're technically 1-1, and we talk about trilogies.
Could be.
Could we see a trilogy at the show of shows, and Nakamura just gets some epic cultural entrance, and this build going forward could be now blood feud over the United States Championship?
Could be. I mean, truthfully, because to have LA Knight obviously at Mania, you need him there because the crowd's going to go nuts. We're going to go nuts. It's just one of those things where if you listen and you do the eye test, like Jay, he's there. Like the pop, the emotion. I don't know where his merchandise sales are at, but I mean, LA Knight clearly has been with the crowd now for 2 years. So I just like Nakamura more, at least right now. I like them both. I love them both, but I'm just a little bit more upset for Nakamura is all.
Angel?
Yeah, I think it's the babyface pop for LA. I mean, I think for him not being in the picture for like Elimination Chamber and stuff like that, I think this was their way of being like, all right, you're not in the main card picture this year for WrestleMania, but we're definitely going to make you hold the title going into WrestleMania and let him get that entrance and stuff like that. Who he faces, I mean, I think Nakamura can still be that guy. I mean, their feud has been pretty decent to me. And they have chemistry in the ring. I did not like the roll-up pin, as I said earlier, but I get it. It leads to the next part of Nakamura asking for a rematch and so on. So that's probably what's going to happen here. And I think LA Knight is just that babyface guy right now that they have to, his age and such, like they have to take it while it's hot. And if the main titles have too many big names to hot potato between as far as matches are concerned, and he just doesn't fit into them right now, what else are you going to do with him? I mean, you can't really bury the guy. He's too popular with the fans. So, and Nakamura, I think, is doing well too since he's come back. I think what he does in the ring is very good, and I think the fans, I always see praise for Nakamura and things I watch or read about. I never see anyone complain about Nakamura in any facet. Nothing. Everything I always see about him is positive. I think the fans do like him. His entrance is one of the better ones in the whole company. So I don't know. I don't mind it. I don't mind that they're dropping it to each other. It's kind of like LA Knight versus AJ Styles type vibes or something like that. Like that's what it feels like again.
Okay. So I didn't hate this. Just because of what you guys just said, and obviously this potential trilogy going to WrestleMania, I think it's a feud. And that's what we were harping on when it comes to the women's championships again, right? I think it's a feud. It's a solid mid-card feud, something that helps round out the card, especially for a 3-hour SmackDown show, because you're so invested in this blood feud that they have. And I don't hate it. I will hate it if LA Knight is moving on. So if we come next Friday
and it's Carmelo Hayes or some shit,
hate it. Yeah. Yes. So as of right now, I do not hate it, but tune in next week. If I swear to God, if I don't have any type of Nakamura and LA Knight interaction on next Friday, next Sunday shows, you're gonna hear my mouth, as you guys always do.
You're gonna hear my mouth.
So that's.
I think you're gonna hear my mouth too. I'll be with you, brother.
So that's just what it's gonna be. But I want to see at this moment, because David likes Shinsuke. I love Shinsuke. I'm pretty sure Angel loves Shinsuke. I think this would be a great WrestleMania mid-card match. Right. For a feud that has been building for a couple months now. And this is not.
I mean, how long did Shinsuke feud with Cody? Like, he can hold a feud.
Oh, he can.
Fought with Cody like 50 times.
When he was on Raw and he first turned heel, those vignettes were awesome.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Awesome. You know he can carry a feud. Like, he's done it before with Cody.
The way he's been packaged is great. Right now, so I don't understand where all this hate on, I want the rock star Shinsuke. Yeah. I like the Rockstar Shinsuke too. I think he has one of the most epic entrances of all time with his debut with the violinist. But I'm feeling heel Shinsuke. I really am. So
Yeah, I like the Mist too, like the throwback vibes of
For
the Mist.
sure.
I'd like it.
for sure. Last thing on the docket as far as championship title picture. So let's go back to Monday Night Raw real quick. We seen Finn Balor really taking an interest into Braun Breaker.
Finally.
We don't know where this is going, but I think we're getting a WrestleMania match between him and Braun Breaker, and I cannot be more excited. Do you think this is the direction that we're going with the IC Championship, or is this just, Finn Balor just trying to show some weight and using his goons to just beat people up and show that he's in charge? What's the bigger story here? On hell, since you love Finn Balor so much.
Oh, to me, these guys need each other. I mean, JD got hurt. Finn's been kind of like waving in the wind while the rest of the Judgment Day is doing stuff. And he just seems to be complaining every week, which is kind of frustrating because he's just too talented for that, dude. So talented on the mic, in the ring. Like, I get that his story got fumbled because of the injury, but come on, man. And Braun, I mean, his matches are great, but like they need someone bigger for him to face. I feel like he's not getting the love on air that I thought he would be getting at this point of his title reign. Like since he beat Jimmy, he's
kind of taken a back seat because of WrestleMania season, in my opinion. Because they're doing so much of these feuds with the promos with Jey Uso, and then you got the Cody stuff going on with John Cena.
Yeah, it's like it's musical chairs, and he got left standing up, and everyone else got a chair.
Great,
everyone got matched up.
More points for you for around the horn.
Yeah, that's what it feels like right now. So, that being said, and you agree with me about Braun, because I think you already know how much I love Braun. He's like, he's going to be a Stone Cold level. In my opinion, he has that potential.
Mm-hmm.
Him facing Finn is awesome. I hope that's happening in any capacity. If they feud, whatever, and if we get to see that at WrestleMania, oh my God, I'm going to love it. Like them facing each other, they both can talk. They both can go out in the ring and face anybody. Their speed, their agility, their power. They both Finn's a little guy, but he's a strong-ass dude. He's one of the most ripped dudes in the whole company. They can move. So I would be super excited for that, for sure, for both of them. It would be awesome. That's
Agreed. Gonzo, you have any thoughts on this?
I think Finn is it's time. It's time for Balor.
So you're saying it's time for Balor. So if this is the route we're getting, we get Finn Balor versus Braun Breaker, WrestleMania Night 1. Is Finn taking that championship?
I don't even care if he does or doesn't. I think it's awesome either way.
I think it's awesome either way as well.
And I don't think it would hurt Braun Breaker.
Definitely would not.
I don't think so.
I agree.
Judgment Day would get involved somehow, right? Some bull, cheapy garbage, and maybe he beats him straight up. So I think it's time, to be truthful with you.
Okay.
It'd be dope.
All right. So before we go into our tail end of our show, usually with our shows, we like to play games. We haven't played a game in a while. We're going to debut a new game for you guys tonight. We've never played it before. It's so new. We have no idea what we're going to call it. So we're just going to call it WWE How Many Can You Name for now. And if someone has a good name, drop it in the comments. And we'll go from there. So basically, hold on one second. So we have a comment. What do you guys think about Naomi being attacked? We will talk about that after this game. I promise. We're getting there. What is this? Christian Vision. Hi, guys. Hey. So like I said, when it comes to this game, we're basically going to pick a category. And this category, we're going to see how many someone could name of WWE Attitude Era wrestlers within 1 minute. All right. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to go around. I'm going to say I can name X amount of wrestlers within 1 minute. It'll go to Angel. Angel could either up the ante or call cap. But if Angel ups the ante, Gonzo can go. He could either up the ante or call cap. And if he ups the ante, we just keep going and going and going. But remember, it's within 1 minute. So hopefully I explained it as best as I could. And I will start with the first ante. And
can we repeat wrestlers? No, right?
No.
Okay, just wanted to clarify.
This guy. All right. So 10 wrestlers. I can name 10 Attitude Era wrestlers.
Yeah.
Yes.
We gotta
those
make
are
a
all
rule
one
about
guys. Those are all one guys.
Okay.
Cactus Jack is one. Yeah.
The many faces of Foley.
Yes.
Foley
if they have a different name, you could use. and it has to be Attitude Era. So don't be giving me 1970s Undertaker or whatever.
Oh, so I can't say Stunning Steve Austin? Or-
No, it has to be
Hey.
an Attitude Era character.
Why are you
All
so
right?
nice to him, but you're not nice to me when I say things like that?
You're done. All right. So I could name 10 Attitude Era wrestlers.
That's a
Angel,
lot. Good luck.
in
10?
1 minute. I can name 10.
I mean, I could. Is it male and female, or
Yeah. 10 Attitude
Oh,
Era wrestlers.
I'll say 12. I could probably
Okay.
name 12.
Gonzo, Cap, or can you name more? Within a minute.
13.
You up to 13?
I can name 15.
Oh, brave.
It looks like you're gonna have to do it, my boy.
All right, give me a timer. Give me a timer.
I got you. I'll do the. You said
got it.
You said 1 minute, right?
Count me off.
All right, hold on. My phone is doing some interesting things. You said 15, huh?
15 in 1 minute.
All right.
Let me know. Let me know.
All right, so we will start in 3, 2, 1.
Matt Hardy, Jeff Hardy, Albert, Test, Big Boss Man, Big Show, the Big Valboski, Triple
God,
H,
you cheated.
Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, D'Lo Brown, Booker T.
You're at 12.
Devon Dudley,
13.
Chris Stratus, Bubba Ray Dudley,
That's 15 right there.
Mike Dudley,
You're good,
Taz.
16.
Gangrel, Edge and Christian,
Oh, okay. You're just going to keep going, huh?
Al Snow, Bradshaw, Chris Jericho, Chris Benoit, Chavo Guerrero, Eddie Guerrero, China, Crash Holly, Hardcore Holly, D Malenko. I think Funaki, Goldust,
Hockey.
Grandmaster Sexay,
That's 1 minute. I
Grandmaster
don't even-
Sexay.
I
All
lost
right.
count. You're somewhere over 20.
Thank you.
Gosh.
He was practicing.
Thank you very
Oh,
much.
Farouk. I'm
Appreciate
surprised
you.
you didn't say Farouk.
Oh, damn it. I did say Bradshaw. Yeah, Farouk. There you go. And that's how you do it, boys. Chalk me up with my first dub. We'll try again.
Did you
Yeah,
even
there we go.
name Kurt Angle?
No.
No, I didn't.
He was in a groove.
When
He
you're
was naming-
thinking,
I'm trying to think
bro,
of some big wrestlers that you didn't name during the era.
dude.
Vince
Randy
McMahon,
Randy,
Shane
no,
O'Mac?
no.
Randy
Vince
Orton's
McMahon,
not
Shane
attitude.
O'Mac. Yeah, I know. Not Attitude Era.
The Mean
So, I
Street
mean,
Posse. That's 3 dudes right there.
Stephanie
Posse.
McMahon.
Definitely. Yeah.
Steve
but
Blackman. You didn't name him.
I
Ken
thought you guys
Shamrock?
would go
Did you say
more.
Ken?
I thought you guys could more. I didn't say Ken Shamrock. No.
No, I just
thought
you
you-
know what we know the era pretty well. I just didn't want to brain freeze. That's the hardest part. Sometimes you get
I
caught
almost
caught in
did.
a
I almost
brain
did at
block, and I was
13. And I was
"Fuck."
like,
Yeah,
ah,
that's why I
shit.
thought I would have had you. When you hit that brain block, you got to get over it. And sometimes
Yeah.
it's hard, even for stuff we know really well.
Yeah. So that was cool.
Good job.
Thank you. All right. Let's see. I've heard rumors regarding Ric Flair inserting himself in the John Cena and Cody Road.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
No, that's a troll.
Slick
There's no
Rick.
shot. You're being serious.
I don't think
He'd be better off interfering in Charlotte Flair's match before he got into
I'm
that
gonna
match.
I'm gonna
No
shoot
way.
that
told
down
you.
immediately. He's still under contract with AEW. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. He came out with that, but again, I read his
Sorry.
little thing from Instagram the other day.
all right. So before we move to our tail end of our show, which is entitled Rivalries, is it wrong for me to put Kurt Angle on my Mount Rushmore? I don't
No.
think it's wrong of you. I just don't know if he can. I mean, I love Kurt Angle. But
I mean,
don't know.
Jericho's on your Mount Rushmore, just like CM Punk's going to be on mine.
I
So
think
I mean,
I think his body of work is up there. I mean, if you include TNA and everything, like that dude went for a long time, wrestling a lot of matches.
Yeah.
I mean, the amount of work he did and his ability to even be a character, a face and a heel and everything else, like the guy did everything. So I can see people doing it. I don't think he's there, but there's arguments to be made for it. I can see it.
Yeah, I mean, we could put up fights for wrestlers going to be out there, but you saying you want Kurt Angle up there, it's a legitimate person that you could put up there.
Mhm. yeah, I have no negative
so-
things to say.
It's not a negative thing. I could think of people I would put ahead of him, but
Same.
I would not hate someone be like, "Hey, Kurt Angle's on
Like,
my roster."
think about it.
Not at
Who
all.
put more work into wrestling, The Rock or Kurt Angle?
Oh, 100%. It's Kurt Angle. Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean? And people
Yeah.
have Rocky as like their top 10 and stuff, and that's just because of his presence and his persona. But as far as workload, he wasn't really one of the best of all time as far as work was considered in the business.
All right, so let's get into the tail end of the show. Let's wrap this up. All right, so we got a few hot rivalries right now, which is what we're going to talk about right now. So we got CM Punk and Seth Rollins. All right, big one. Excuse me. So CM Punk and Seth Rollins, we had CM Punk just absolutely open Raw and destroy The Rock. He destroyed CM Punk, and he absolutely destroyed Seth Rollins in a promo, leading to
John Cena. CM
Yeah,
Punk
is that-
did not.
did I
You
say
said,
CM Punk? Yeah,
yeah, you said he
John
destroyed
Cena.
himself.
Yeah.
You ball
All right.
frauds.
All right, so like players fuck up, relax. So now with all this, we had brawls going on Monday Night Raw between the two of them. They can't keep it away from each other. I said this is the match we're getting at WrestleMania, but it looks like we're getting a cage match tomorrow night between the two.
Wow.
I mean, as much as I love a good old cage match, why are we getting this on Raw and not at WrestleMania is question number one for whoever wants to take it. And question number two is if this is going to be their blow off, what is both of these wrestlers, their outlook for WrestleMania? Angel, you got your finger up. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not going to be long because I'm sure Gonzo has much more to say than I do about it. But I don't like the timing of it. I don't want to see two injury-prone wrestlers in a cage before we get to fly to WrestleMania. I'm not excited about their potential to get hurt. Their feud is fun. CM Punk and Seth on the mic, always great against each other with other people. CM Punk cut another monstrous promo, just gouging at everyone, including the final boss, like you said, which I think he's one of the only people ever that can talk to his boss like that. Like, there's only so many people that can talk about their boss the way CM Punk always does.
Well,
like,
it's the long
what makes him
story.
Great.
It's the long storytelling.
Yeah, of course. I mean, even Cody saying "go fuck yourself" doesn't seem as crazy as what CM Punk did on Raw without swearing. Like, it was pretty intense. And yeah, so I just feel like I hope they survive, and I still see our OTC coming back. I don't know if he's going to come back Monday, but he's involved with this story at some point. So we'll see what happens there. Hopefully he breaks it up early or something. I don't know.
So OTC's coming back?
Potentially, I can see it happening. And to build their triple threat match that could happen at WrestleMania or something. So it's in this is my own lore that I'm building right now with that. But if not, then I just hope they don't get hurt. And I guess, yeah, they might wrestle at WrestleMania 1v1, but I don't know. How do you beat a cage match?
That's what I'm saying. It's hard. So you put a Hell in a Cell. So I mean, it's a cage match with a top. So I mean,
right,
like
exactly.
with a top.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's all I have to say about it, though.
Gonzo.
My God, I mean, I'm trying to think of wrestlers that I can sacrifice to ensure the safety of CM Punk as we move forward in 41 days to get him to the show of shows. You have him in a Hell in a Cell. Is it justified? Yeah, it's justified. Look what just happened. He cost him
Cage match.
Sorry. He cost him his shot at WrestleMania, right? He's got a hit list. There is long-term storytelling in addition that's being told here. You literally are going all the way back to 2013, right? 2012 with Cena and The Rock and calling people out. And the first individual right now is to get Seth out of the way, because now you've got the final boss and you have John Cena, right? You're going through and you're eliminating those that are in your way. I mean, Punk made it very clear with this promo. That promo, to me, he sounded probably the most fluid on the mic, now being integrated back into the world of wrestling, if that makes sense. You figure he's been off for, 7 years? And he had his time in AEW, and then he comes back because, Mark, there was that time where he was being maybe a little bit too friendly with the crowd at times. And here, this is Punk going right for your throat, right? This is the best in the world where he was before he left. I like the idea of the cage match, to be truthful with you. There's nowhere to run. There's nowhere to hide. You're going to literally just tear each other apart within this. and it's going to be for the rest of the world to see, right? It's on Netflix. Everyone's seeing it. It's not that it's going to be on SmackDown. So I think that's something, again, just to keep into consideration, is there are no other PLEs right now, right? Until the show of shows. So potentially this could be a PLE match that you have on Netflix. But the storytelling, we got to get through Rollins first. And then, of course, that's going to come back and potentially how's that going to play a role with the OTC, right? We haven't heard from him. And now that we are lining him up, potentially, we may see that triple threat match at Mania, or who knows, right? Whatever these stipulations are going to be. It's going to be interesting. I'll say that.
I mean, it is as much as I would love to see OTC inserted, especially because what happened with that brawl at the Royal Rumble. At this point, the story is just between Seth and CM Punk. And I don't know as much as I want to see him live at WrestleMania, I don't know
So
if I
how
want him
else-
to be inserted.
How else does he show up at WrestleMania?
That's the thing, I don't know.
It's not Solo Sikoa. It's not Jacob Fatu.
I agree with you. I'm not saying you're wrong. It's just like with the story that's being told, I mean, this would be the only thing for him to be inserted. But at the same time, the blood feud between Seth and CM Punk, it's so crazy. It's like I just want that blow off to be a 1v1, and I
You
feel like
OTC joining diminishes it a little bit.
Just a little, because he hasn't really been involved in this hatred that these guys have with each other.
Only at Royal Rumble. That was the only moment.
That was the only time. And while that is a valid reason to be like, hey, I wanted to get my licks in, these two has still been going at it. They got a cage match tomorrow night. It's like, I don't know if I would want to ruin, I wouldn't say ruin, but I don't know if I would want to, like Angel said, diminish this feud that has just been so hot and so personal by adding a guy to get in there, because of essentially at this point, you want another big name on the card. That just what
you want him on the card somewhere.
I agree, I do. And it's just like, I don't know if this is the spot.
It's not another big name. It's literally their generation's
It's the name.
Yeah.
It's the name.
So jelly cards real quick. So you said Seth and CM Punk in the first blood match at WrestleMania. Is that bigger? Idea. Is that bigger than a cage match though?
I think it is nowadays, because blood isn't a big thing now. I mean, they do it now more, but first blood match, when was the last time we even saw one of those?
I mean, and
what about an I Quit match?
It could be I Quit, or I was gonna say it could be a 2 out of 3 false. Yeah, 2 out of 3 falls.
2 out of 3 falls is more like you want to showcase the wrestling. I feel like it needs something to just give us the ultimate blow off. If the plan is still WrestleMania, I mean, first blood maybe, or an I Quit match, some type of hardcore match where they both just beat the shit out of each other and just be done with it.
But if you do, like, hypothetically, like the 2 out of 3 falls, you could have stipulations to where round one
that would be really cool too. Yes,
round 1 is A, round 2 is B, and then of course the deciding factor, you could have that be whatever the third one be. I mean, that could be a way to up the ante potentially, theoretically. But then again, like, you have CM Punk, Mr. Glass himself, and then Rollins has an injury history as well. So it's like you have to be very selective as to what you're doing, with both those dudes. But that's why I said I'm going to be holding my breath come tomorrow night.
For sure. Let me get to these comments before we move on. We'll save that one for a second. What is this one? OTC shows up at Mania to face off against The Rock, not in a match, but to face off in the ring and then promote their matchup until next year's Mania. We all want it, Jelly. I mean, I just don't know when the hell we're gonna get it, and Rock's only getting older. Roman Reigns is part-time.
Have any more matches? I don't know, man. I don't know if he's comfortable enough. He pulled it off last year, and that was tough for him. I don't know if he can keep doing it.
I don't know. I want it to happen. Don't get me wrong. I mean, we wanted to see that. I mean, if we were gonna get that, we should have got that Ulafala exchange. Where something happened. I don't know. It's just, I feel like it's been so long. Like, if it's not happening already, I don't know if we're ever going to get it.
Do you think Triple H feels like the fans have bloodline fatigue? Because it seems like everything bloodline is now in the background.
And that's okay.
And I mean, if you look at each character from the bloodline, and I'm talking about all of them, Jimmy, Jay, OTC, Solo, Fatu, And The Rock is nowhere near any bloodline story now. He's completely removed from the bloodline at this point. He has no connection to them. That's all he was talking about last year. And then OTC doesn't even show up. Fatu and Solo don't even do things together. They're having singles matches or tag team matches separate from each other. They don't even like back each other up hardly. So it just seems like they're just like on the back burner. I feel like Triple H feels like people are sick of the bloodline story a little bit. And Jay has his main his main title shot, so he's kind of on his own always. But
I mean, you could be onto something there. You could have bloodline fatigue. I mean, people had bloodline fatigue 2 years ago. So, and then it just kept getting fresh. So, I mean, maybe you could be onto something right now because right now it's not very fresh, right? So everyone's kind of doing their own thing. We have this WrestleMania card that is just like up in the air. No one's safe in their title shots except the Royal Rumble winners at this point. So it's like, who knows?
Right.
So yeah, you could be onto something. But it just at this point in time, it's just like the percentage of us finally getting Rock versus Roman is definitely under fucking 40% in my book. Like it's just
that's pretty low.
Yeah, I don't know. As much as we all want to see it, I just don't know. So, all right. Let's see. Child of God, what do you guys think about Naomi being the one who attacked Jade? We are on that right now, my guy. So Jade Cargill, Naomi, another hot feud right now, apparently. Bianca Belair seemingly heartbroken at Naomi's admission of the attack on Jade Cargill. With Angel made mention of this earlier in the episode, you know, their promos, how personal it was and sincere of how saddened that Bianca was. They're both throwing out tears and I did it for Naomi and I did it for Bianca and all that shit. So, I mean, are you guys buying it is a better question. Are we still thinking Bianca is innocent in this situation?
I was about to say, I think there could be a heel turn for Bianca coming too.
Yeah.
That they were in on it together and they're not revealing it yet.
Yeah.
That it was Bianca, or that it was
around the horn.
Sorry, it was Bianca's ideal the whole time and they're keeping it under wraps and that was a whole show in the ring. And it's really gonna buy into Bianca winning the title. And then after she wins the title, her facing Jade Cargill potentially at SummerSlam.
Her facing Jade Cargill potentially at SummerSlam? Who faces Jade? I'm sorry, I kind of got lost for a second. Naomi or
Bianca wins the title. Bianca wins the title at WrestleMania.
And then because down the road, okay, got it.
Because Naomi and her are secretly both heels right now, but she hasn't revealed it yet. So at WrestleMania, Naomi will come out, assist her to win the title. She'll hug Naomi, flip off or whatever she wants to do to Jade, basically doing the New Day at this point. And then we'll set up for SummerSlam, Jade Cargill.
Yeah, so I think me and Angel are in agreement here. I think Bianca's still the mastermind because right now, if this is not the mastermind, let's just say Bianca is 100% innocent in the situation. I don't give a shit about Jade Cargill versus Naomi. I'm sorry, I don't, and which is why she got her ass whooped on SmackDown and she got her ass whooped at Elimination Chamber, and it's just like. Jade clearly towers over and is clearly the more powerful and is clearly the better person when it comes to Jade Cargill versus Naomi. And if I get that match at WrestleMania, I don't know, bro. I don't know. So I'm still praying right now that Bianca's still a mastermind here. Gonzo, thoughts?
You might see that just because they want to put Jade in the WrestleMania card somehow. But yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Pre-show maybe.
I thought it was interesting that you had Bianca come out and she was dressed in black. Right. We know that visuals are huge where there's some white, but it was predominantly black. So to me, it signifies a lot. For those that may not know what I'm referring to, if you think about like old Westerns or just movies in general, where you have like the villains of every film or a TV series, typically they're dressed in dark colors, right? Black in particular. And then, of course, the hero mostly is dressed in white or has a little bit more of a like a gray or a mutual color. So you have Bianca come out dressed in black. I said, oh, let's go. You know, I'm hoping that it's going to be the reveal that she's the one that's, you know, the puppeteer or the puppet master. And then, of course, we get Naomi coming out with her bedazzled neck brace, which I thought was fantastic. But she's also dressed in black. So just from a visual standpoint, it's like, oh, like what, like which one is it, right? Like which one is it? And I was kind of at the edge of my seat, and I said, "Come on, please." I said, "Let Naomi not know what the hell's going on, and let Bianca just turn heel or something like that." I don't know.
I really thought Bianca was gonna come in, and after Naomi's getting her ass whooped, I thought that's when we were gonna see it, and we didn't get it, and I was just like, okay,
Yeah,
uh,
maybe it doesn't come. I
yeah.
don't know, but there was a part of me that wanted to have that reveal a little bit more, but it didn't come. So, the crying, the tears, the emotion that they showed, I mean, that was impressive. So, to a certain degree, like I'm buying in sort of, but I wanted Bianca. Like I'll just be truthful. I wanted Bianca. To me, it still is Bianca, right? She's the one that is presenting it how it is that she is. But if they don't go that route and they just keep her face, you're gonna have Jade unmercifully continue to just put the beat down on Naomi for quite a bit of time. But I think as they continue to do that, that's where you may see Bianca jump in and reveal and take out Jade and start building potentially for not WrestleMania but for SummerSlam. Like this is going to go on for another several months because I had made mention, I think maybe last show or the show before that. So strap in. We're going to be on a wonderful rocket that's going to potentially have Jade Cargill just get sent to the moon and hopefully never come back. Let's see how far she goes with this stardom now.
I mean, I hope so. I mean, she should be the person being pushed in that division, especially in my opinion, because NXT has the far superior women's division. She should be the one getting pushed because these divisions are significantly weaker, in my opinion, especially in the mid card area. And for us to get a feud that doesn't involve a championship would be just mean the world to me because, like I told you, these women don't get these type of feuds. It's always title or nothing. So we have the potential to have a blood feud, just like CM Punk and Seth Rollins in the women's division with Jade and Bianca or Jade and Naomi, and that's something that I'm really all for.
Mm-hmm.
Angel, anything else you would like to say?
No, I think that was it. I think Jade's outfit was cool. She was like a serial killer. She was out for blood. It was pretty.
Yep.
Oh
interesting to
yeah.
see her out there.
Oh dude, the
It was
white
really
with
cool.
the blood everywhere. Yeah, that was
Yeah,
dope, dude.
she had the gloves on and everything. Like she
Yep.
just looked like she was out for blood. It's awesome.
I loved it. Her presentation, AEW and WWE has always been fantastic. Always. Because AEW did her well. They just couldn't hang on to her. And
Right.
yeah, they just couldn't hang on to her. So her presentation has never been in question. It's just, can she
Did
be
you
that
guys-
superstar is?
Did you guys see that thing I sent you about her getting like Christmas off, or she was looking for Christmas off and she didn't get it? And there was that whole thing, and that's why she wasn't around like these past few weeks. I thought I sent it to you guys, but there was some story about her, like she asked for Christmas or holiday time and they told her no. And then she just took the time like recently. Yeah, I don't know. There's a whole like drama with her. Supposedly that's why she was gone for a little while. But whatever, it's making this story interesting. So I guess it was worth it, whatever it was.
Yeah, right. All right. So last thing, main event. Cody Rhodes finally reflects on what happens. What happened at Elimination Chamber with John Cena's heel turn. Everyone's saying this is the greatest heel turn of all time. So what do you guys think of Cody's promo? Are you excited because of the heel turn from John Cena? Do you feel like you needed this heel turn to make you invested in this match, or you just loved it regardless? Gonzaga.
It's not Roman versus Cody 3, right? So this in itself is new. It's different. I've been wanting heel John Cena for years. So the fact that I was intrigued to have him push for 17, but again, it's like, okay, great. I didn't think honestly that would happen, but now because he turned heel and now he's pursuing championship number 17. Whoo, let's go. You already got my money. You already got it. Could you imagine if we were trying to buy tickets now after all of this? The ticket prices, I don't even want to look to see what the hell they are right now because I'm sure they're probably through the roof once that was announced and displayed for the world. So I am thoroughly enjoyed. I don't know what the hell's going to happen. And so I'm all for the cinema.
So what'd you think of Cody's promo?
It's probably one of his better ones that he's had in a very long time. Absolutely it is. So it kind of started off a little kind of vanilla and then it picked up tremendously. So a lot of emotion, connecting the dots. that self-expression, because at times, he holds back, I think, a little bit, and he is a little bit more reserved, but he was, it was good to see. I'll let you guys break that down a little bit more, because we could spend another 15 minutes a piece, honestly, talking about his promo and the significance behind it. But
Angel?
Yeah, I think the Cena heel turn is probably one of the biggest moments, if not the biggest moment in wrestling. For it to just, I know we're always biased to the time we're in, and it's oh, is it really the biggest of all time? But it's damn, dude. Like I said last week, the Make-A-Wish guy turned. You just never thought it would ever happen. It just never seemed like it could be reality. And even today, you look at it, and you're like, damn, it's real. Every day, you're like, damn, that actually happened. Okay. I think it works out great because Cody's pretty much, as far as his current run in WWE, John Cena 2.0. Not that he's the same guy and he's copying John. It's not that way. He's that face that it's so hard to be John Cena. And I think Cody's the only other guy we could ever say is the closest to John Cena, as far as a face in the company. And, so for him to turn on John, for him to work with The Rock, I think it's just interesting, right? Rocky had a plan this whole time, and he had a backup plan too, right? So John turning is pretty damn awesome. I will say Cody's promo was pretty exciting. I find him, now that I watch him more, especially when he's talking alone versus when he's talking to other people, he kind of talks like Agent Smith from The Matrix with his cadence and the way he goes about it. If you really pay attention to what he says, he doesn't really go up and down much. And it just seems like he's in that robot mode sometimes when he's talking to really set a point to the fans and stuff. When he gets real serious, it's very interesting to watch him talk sometimes. It's different. And I know he has a little bit of a lisp like his dad and stuff like that. So it might be something to do with that. I don't know. But no, this promo this past week was really good. I think him and Punk really went after, the authority, if you want to call it that at this point, or whatever you want to call it. And it seemed real and intention. It's when he said, what did he say? He should wear a shirt that I gave up. What did he say about the shirt? I'm trying to remember what he said about Cena's shirt.
I forget.
It was something like that. He's always give up or something like that.
He said he ended it with saying he did give up.
Oh, he did give up. That's what it was. That's what it was. And that line right there, I was like, you know what? Yeah. That shit's cold. He's flipping Cena's words on him, and that's not easy to do. Cena wasn't in the ring, of course not. God forbid he shows up as a
but still, it's iconic, 20 plus year catchphrase. So he flipped it on him regardless, whether he was in the ring or not. It hit, and it really hit well, and even the crowd was like, "Oh." That's just what it was. That's what you want. Mm-hmm. So last question for you before we wrap it up. So Angel was pushing and guessing and even convinced us that Cody was going to turn heel, but we got Cena instead. So question for Angel, are you glad you got the Cena heel turn, or did you wish Cody turned instead?
I read somewhere that they actually asked Cody to turn, and he said no. I read that somewhere.
Doesn't shock me.
It was an option.
He wants to be loved.
Right, yeah, it was an option for him. And he's been heel before. This, it wouldn't be his first time. Mm-hmm. We know that already. Mm-hmm. But he said no, and you know what? I'm glad. I think I like him as a face. He could be heel later in his career. Right now, he's finally got what he's deserved, and he could be face for a long time. And when you have enemies that he has, like I was talking about before, the same argument I was making for him to turn heel can be said for him to stay face as well, because he just has so many opponents he could go after, former friends, opponents he hasn't even faced yet, jealous people that don't believe he deserves it, or he got gifted it even though he really didn't, because he left the company and made a whole nother one, and so on and so forth. We know the story, but there's a bunch of people that are jealous of him and such. So him not turning heel, I think, was great, because Cena turning heel is unreal, and it's just better. So I think it worked out.
Agreed. All right, guys. So episode 39, Road to WrestleMania, is about to be a wrap. But before we do it, final thoughts, Gonzo. Anything if you want. Otherwise, let us know where we can find you and what you got going on.
Lighting candles for CM Punk and Seth Rollins. I already told you. I already got my list of wrestlers that I'm looking to sacrifice to ensure that those two men, specifically Punk, makes it through this cage match tomorrow night. So those are my final thoughts as of right now. As far as that, signing off, it's going to be the raising_personalities. That's going to be Instagram. And, I'm usually spending most of my time there. TikTok as well. And so, when I'm not doing my behavioral health and addiction treatment stuff, in the real world, I'm certified here in the state of Illinois. I'm usually, of course, talking with my guys here about wrestling, video games, other life things. And so, for the most part, it's 41 days, I think, right, till WrestleMania. So I'm getting excited, honestly. So that's just where my mind is at.
We all are, bro. We all are. All right, Angel. Any final thoughts? If so, or if not, tell us what you got going on and where we can find you.
First thought, I thought Otis had a really good match against Gunther.
Otis. I want their shirts, by the way. Alpha
he deserved
Babes.
some flowers. Otis doesn't get a lot of matches in general, but he had a long match with Gunther, and it actually was exciting. I enjoyed that match. I thought I had to shout him out.
He's super athletic, dude. Remember when he was the Money in the Bank holder, bro?
The chop fight he had with him, it was really good. I love.
He took off his shirt. He's like, "All right, let's do it."
Yeah, it was. He was like, "Let's do it." Him do that. I'm tired of Gunther just squashing people. I know he's giant and that's his character, but like, I want to see him fight a little bit. And that was fun to see. And then Karrion Kross. I mean, I already said it earlier, but unless he has the longest long story of all time that it's coming, where he has this whole organization, he's like Dr. Doom or something. He's making a whole freaking army
Mr.
of evil
Sinister.
people to like he's just back there like, oh, I'm polluting the whole company. Like, unless we see that come out sometime this year, I don't know what he's doing. If that's the case and he's this Mr. Sinister, then awesome. It'll be a great feat when they unveil that curtain. But if not, like, all right, bro, we're kind of over it. The only thing that I saw that was cool about him is that he wears the same hair for each person he's trying to like turn. He'll wear his hair like them, like he did to AJ Styles. He had his hair down like AJ and stuff like that. It's pretty interesting. Other than that, I need to see like his story come to fruition sometime. And the last thing I wanted to say was WWE had a Travis Scott drop with the shirt, which was pretty cool. And I thought like WrestleMania is gonna be this beyond the wrestling fans story now with the Cena thing that it went beyond the wrestling, and now this Travis Scott thing. Like, it's just crazy how big wrestling's getting again, where it's kind of like our Attitude Era, where it's going beyond just wrestling fans. Like, everybody's talking about it again. It's pretty crazy to see. So I'm excited for WrestleMania, like Gonzo said. And then you can catch me at _OK Gaming on Twitch and Kick and on YouTube and any social medias playing WWE 2K5 soon. Go ahead, Gonzo. Sorry.
I was just going to say, imagine being the man that injured Cody Rhodes and costing the main event of night 2 of your $1 billion organization and having no wrestling experience and not understanding what you're supposed to be doing in the ring and who greenlit that. That's how close we were potentially to losing everything, all of this momentum because of someone giving the green light.
I read that Cody told him to hit him as hard as he could.
Yeah, whatever the case is, you just jeopardized potentially again everything. So that's my.
You didn't jeopardize it. You want to know why? Because Cody wrestled with a fucking torn pec in a fucking.
He was fine.
So we're getting Cody regardless.
Cody's a dog. Cody's a dog.
So,
he ain't worried.
So, final thoughts for me. So TNA NXT relationships have been amazing. Obafemi versus Moose. We're getting that very soon. But this week, we got a lot of big matches this week, so be on the lookout for that. We got the cage match tomorrow. We got NXT Roadblock. NXT Roadblock is this Tuesday. It's going to be built like a PLE. And last thing, we had a thing with Cora Jade. We had a scare with her against Jordynne Grace. Mm-hmm. After watching Impact, we're okay. She's good. She came and took a bump on Impact, had a promo on Impact, and we're still getting that match. So I'm just thankful because I was like, okay, now Jordynne Grace is going to be labeled as a murderer like Nia Jax was for so long. And I was like,
that was a weird situation when it happened. Didn't it look like Jordynne was mad at Cora the whole match? To me, I got vibes that like there was some animosity there.
So do you think it was like So you think it was
almost
like
like a shoot.
Like a shoot? Yeah.
It felt like
Okay.
a shoot for me for Jordan. And I think Cora was getting frustrated too when she started giving her receipts, like where they hit each other hard again. And then she hit her in that corner. I think Cora just gave up and said, I'm going home. Like she even went like this when she was walking out of the ring. I don't know if you caught it. She was covering her face.
She did cover
away
her
from the
face.
camera. It was really weird. I don't know what happened there, but I'm glad.
And then
she's
Jordan
okay.
Grace smiled. She was smiling.
She did.
She was
yeah,
just
and I
like,
know
yep,
she was playing her
like,
character, but it seemed like
yeah.
it seemed more real than fake, that whole situation. It
I
was
could
really
see
weird.
that. I could see that.
Yeah.
But like I said, for those of you guys who don't watch TNA Impact, Cora is okay. She did show up on Thursday, did drop a promo, did take a bump. We are still getting her match, so that's cool. And lastly, I'm putting it out there: the Hardys are going to win the NXT championships, and they will be the people the NXT tag team championships, excuse me. And I think they're going to be the ones. Yeah,
they'll be the only
So,
ones that are allowed to wear a
they're going to be the only
title
ones that are
ever.
going to be allowed
The
to do it,
only
and I
ones.
think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
But until then, like I said, you can find me pro_wrestling_kingpin. I will be streaming on my Twitch, WWE 2K very soon. Hopefully with Angel, you can see us play some my GM, and we could try out this this island sometime this week. So we're definitely gonna try this out. So be on the lookout for that. Once again, pro_wrestling_kingpin, all social media. So until then, we will see you next week once again. Every Sunday, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, live, or you can listen on Spotify. And thank you guys for watching. Even though
Rest in peace,
we had AEW Revolution on simultaneously. So thank you guys. See you next week.